Dear international students, I know you're eager to come to school and start off your life and see what the future holds for you in a new country. I know this information is probably too late for those resuming in the fall, which is September, like literally 2 weeks from now. I want to say there's a housing crisis in Canada. If you're coming in January, in May, in September of next year, and you've gotten an admission, do yourself a favor of finding housing in school. Do yourself a favor of applying for housing through the school. When we say living on campus, we don't mean, the private university living on campus setting in Nigeria where you're not allowed to go out, there's a lot of restrictions. No, you can still live on campus and go out and do whatever you want to do. The school is pretty much the best bet, There will be a wait list because you're not the only one applying. There are going to be others applying too. The school wouldn't need all the requirements like, an employment letter, credit check, whatever landlords do, right? The school wouldn't require all of that. So the best bet would be now to get on that application. I read an article of international students sleeping at the bus station, sleeping on the street because they didn't do their due diligence of getting housing before coming. And it's not easy. Like, people in the country, it's difficult for them to get into housing. Imagine you coming from a different country. You don't want to come, and face that side of life here. It's going to be a big deterrent, for how you feel about the country and like how things are going to progress from there. So you came to study, do your due diligence, get housing as soon as possible. Again, school housing is cheaper, right? Especially if you are going to a bigger city like Quebec and Toronto and Vancouver. School housing is still the cheapest in comparison to the prices you would get if you were to live outside or off campus, except you're like going to go an hour, 2 hours away to look for housing. But then you're a newcomer, remember, you don't need to go through that stress. The best way to integrate into the system, into this community, this new environment that you're coming into would be to get school housing. And then once you're acquainted with the environment, lease is usually for 1 year, you can now move, right? By then you have a job, you're settled, you understand and you know your environment. You have a social insurance number, right? And they can run a credit check on you, right? So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and congratulations.